Hello, and today we're going to be talking about active shooter preparedness. This will be a little bit more of a heavy and unfortunate topic that we will have to work through and train on for today, but please note that there will be heavy material, but this is for your benefit, and it is very important that all of our leadership, our managers on duties, and anyone potentially put in the situation has the proper information. U.S. government agencies such as the FBI, Department of Justice, and more define an active shooter as an individual actively engaged in killing or attempting to kill in a confined or populated area. The shooter uses firearms and typically selects their victims at random. According to a 2013 FBI study, on average, active shooters incidents occur every 3 weeks in the United States, making them an unfortunate reality of the modern American workplace. This study also indicates the majority of these incidents end before law enforcement can arrive at the scene. In this course, you will learn how to prepare your workplace and your team members for the possibility of an active shooter incident, as well as what to do during the incident and aftermath. Of all shooting incidents from 2000 to 2013, the incident with the highest casualty count occurred at the place of business. At Cinemark Century 16 Theater in Aurora, Colorado, on July 20th, 2012, 12 died and 58 were wounded. Because of these dangers, OHM must prepare for the worst. The best way to assure the safety of our team members is to take steps forward towards minimizing the chances and effects of an active shooter incident. This chapter discusses the components of a properly prepared workplace, which includes the creation of an emergency action plan, training exercises, and other preventative measures and responsibilities, and how to recognize the warning signs of workplace violence. When we're talking about emergency action plan, we need to be sure that we're looking at the benefits, the resources, and we're making sure that our plan is successful by including the following methods. We also can develop training exercises that simulate inactive shooter situations. Again, we need to make sure we're looking at the benefits, we need to enlist help, and we need to make sure that the training includes the following information. The next section will discuss in greater detail what should be included in employee training. When we're talking about preventative measures, we need to look at active shooter incidents by location. 45% of active shooter scenarios happen in commerce, which is also called business. We are a business, we are a hotel and restaurant, and unfortunately we fall into this category that has the largest incidents by location. We need to make sure that we're cultivating a respectful environment in the workplace, and we need to watch for any signs of violence and take action as necessary. We do also have organizational responsibilities as OHM. We perform background checks for all of our new and team members. We implement a system that allows individuals to report signs of violent behavior. This is done through our management team, our open door policy, but also our OHM hotline that is posted in the care alcove. We provide resources for counseling through our EAP program, also in the care alcove, and we insist in preparing the emergency action plan. Our responsibilities for the facility manager, which is also known as our general manager, and John Kelly, our chief engineer. We need to implement access controls throughout the premises, such as electronic security systems and keys. You'll see this a lot. We have a lot of doors that lock with needing key fobs or physical manual keys to enter. We need to assure that items such as floor plans, personnel lists, and more are provided. We prepare and distribute crisis kits, and we assure that facility security is properly trained and able to maintain the premises' physical security. There are warning signs that we can look for and know the warning signs and train employees to be aware of them. Any employee should report signs of potentially violent behavior to their manager or to HR or through our OHM hotline. Common traits that might be indicative of potentially violent behavior are the following. Mainly, decreased attention to hygiene habits, use of drug and alcohol, severe mood swings, paranoid behavior, previous violent incidents, and more. This list only presents common signs of violent behavior. It is neither comprehensive nor to be used as a diagnostic tool. Active shooters are usually associated with the location of the incident. They may be current or former team members, or friends or relations of our team members. 95% of shooters were employees when we look at closed to pedestrian traffic. When we look at open to pedestrian traffic, 27% of shooters were employees. When we look at our active shooter list by gender, males were the most common active shooter with 96%, and female the least common by 3%. Employees must be trained on active shooter response, and no two active shooter incidents are alike. The proper course of an action may vary from an incident to incident. However, in many cases, the practices detailed in the following slides will help keep employees safe. This chapter will discuss what you and your employees should do during an active shooter incident, when it is safe to call 911, and how to react once emergency personnel arrives. What to expect. Active shooters incidents are rarely prolonged. Many are over in a matter of minutes, often before law enforcement can arrive. Your first plan should always be to evacuate the premises if a safe route is accessible. Look at the following tips for more information, such as determining your route before you move, leave behind any belongings not already on you, and if possible, help others to escape. If you are unable to evacuate, find a safe place to hide. A safe hiding place should be out of view from the shooter, protect you from gunfire in your direction, and allow safe access to possible evacuation routes. If the shooter approaches your hiding place, if possible, lock and blockade the door. Set any mobile devices to silence and turn off any other sources of noise, such as computers, TVs, or radios. Find a large item to hide behind and stay quiet. If unable to evacuate or hide, keep calm and if possible, call 911 to notify the police of the shooter's location. Do not call 911 unless it is safe to do so. An active shooter incident, your own safety should be your first priority. Make sure you can either evacuate the premises or find a safe hiding space before calling 911. If you are unable to speak or if it is unsafe to do so, keep the line open to allow the dispatcher to listen in. Let the dispatcher know the following: the location of the shooter, number of shooters, physical description of the shooter, number and type of weapons held by the shooter, and number of potential victims at the location. The last resort. Attempting to incapacitate an active shooter is strictly a last resort. Never attempt to confront a shooter unless your life is in immediate danger. If you have no other options, the Department of Homeland Security recommends the following strategies: acting as aggressively as possible against him or her, throwing items and improvising weapons, yelling, committing to your actions. Remember that your goal is to completely incapacitate the shooter, not just to inflict harm. You are trying to take them down. When law enforcement arrives and other emergency responders arrive, we need to make sure that we're doing the proper procedure. Police officers may be outfitted with tactical equipment and high-powered firearms. Upon their arrival, officers will proceed directly to the shooter's last known location and will not stop to tend to wounded individuals. If you encounter police officers, keep your hands visible at all times. Officers may shout or push at individuals to make sure that they are out of harm's way. Keep calm and obey instructions. Do not make any sudden or quick movements in the direction of the officers and avoid screaming, yelling, or pointing. Once you have reached a safe location, law enforcement will likely keep you at the assembly point until the incident is over and all witnesses have been identified and questioned. Be patient and do not try to leave unless authorized to do so by the authorities on the scene. Rescue teams. Emergency medical personnel, as well as additional police officers, will enter the premises behind the initial police team. After an incident, once the shooter has been neutralized, you will need to coordinate with HR and management teams to manage the aftermath and respond to any problems. Then you will need to analyze the incident to understand how and why it happened and implement controls to prevent similar incidents from occurring in the future. This chapter will discuss steps for managing aftermath and analyzing the incident. For immediate response, take account of personnel to determine whether anyone is missing or possibly wounded. Contact the families of those involved in the incident. In worst case, this may include reporting casualties. Implement plans to provide counseling or psychological care for employees as requested or needed. Again, we have this through the EAP program that is provided for free 24 hours for all of our team members and their families. Determine if any critical roles in the organization require filling due to the incident and reassign present personnel as necessary. To analyze the incident, thoroughly document the incident and document response activities. Identify successful actions and identify areas where stronger preventative measures or more training is required. Evaluate the existing emergency action plan's effectiveness and make recommendations for improvement as necessary. In summary, develop a strong, comprehensive emergency action plan in order to assume and assure that employees are prepared for an active shooter incident. Hold training sessions and exercises to give employees an opportunity to develop good practices for dealing with an active shooter. Train employees to try to evacuate or hide within the premises, to wait until they are safe place before calling 911, and to never try to engage the shooter except as a last resort if their lives are in imminent danger and they have no safer options. Also train them to follow any instructions given by police or medical personnel. Once the incident has ended, organize medical and psychological assessments for employees as needed, and also perform a thorough review of the incident to identify strengths and weaknesses of the emergency action plan and other preventative measures. Recommend and implement changes to safeguard against future incidents. Congratulations, you have completed active shooter preparedness.